Subcommittee Plumbing, how can I help you? Are you not able to get through? Hello? Good morning.
Morning. Vice Mayor?
Yes. Good morning.
Oh, great.
Good morning, Victoria. Ernesto here. Yes, I'm here.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're ready to go, Rafael.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Very well. Good. Good morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and start our meeting. We'll call our meeting to order. Vice Mayor Fleming and myself will be joining you this morning. Councilmember Sawyer was unable to meet with us this morning. So we'll go ahead and call to order. Just as a reminder, because of our current COVID conditions, the COVID world we're living in, we are suspending certain requirements of the Brown Act. That's why we're having this meeting by Zoom. Again, just following the public health officer's orders. So we will do this as we have in our past meetings. And again, when it comes time to public comment, you will use your raise hand feature on your Zoom, or if you are calling by phone, I believe you'll be able to press *9 to be able to be acknowledged, and we will use the same process that we have in the past. So with that, do we have any announcements for this morning? Hearing none, we'll move on to our public comments. So again, if you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please select the raise hand button. And if you're dialing in via telephone, please use the *9 to raise your hand, and then we will acknowledge you. Do we have any public comment this morning?
No one's raised at this time.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on with our agenda. We have a number of items this morning, so we'll try to get through them all so we can get you all back to your television sets and see what's happening out there in the nation. We'll begin with item 4.1. No, we've done that, right? Item 4.2, we have permitted events in public art. Good morning,
Good morning.
Karen.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Good morning, Chair Oliveris, Vice Mayor Fleming, and everyone. I have just a very brief update. Not really any new information regarding special events since our last meeting. Special event permits remain suspended through 2020, at least, through the end of the year, at least. It's looking like that will go on into 2021 at this point. I did want to bring up one point of information that I get asked a lot from members of the public and other staff members, so I thought I would share here about free speech activities. So free speech activities such as marches and assemblies may not require permits under normal circumstances if COVID wasn't a restriction at this time, as long as they don't include event elements such as vendors and stages or jumpy houses, equipment such as that. So there are state guidelines for participating in protests safely during COVID that include wearing masks and keeping 6 feet apart from others. So I thought I would just share that information since it comes up a lot from the public.
Thank you, Tara. No, go on. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, in terms of an arts update, I did want to share that the Imagine Art in Old Courthouse Square project is moving along, although it has been delayed a few times by current events. So the last time I gave an update, I shared that there had been 5 finalists and we were doing outreach to get community input on those 5 finalists, and the selection panel would be making their decision soon. Well, the selection panel has now narrowed down those finalists to 2 artists, and they are now working with those artists directly to ask additional information to clarify design components from each artist before making a final decision. So now our current timeline is looking like there will be an announcement of the selected artists in early December. So I will hopefully be able to share an update again next month. The Open and Out public art components of Open and Out are mostly wrapped up with a few installations still in the works, and Cadence can provide more information when she gives her Downtown Action Organization update. And then I wanted to share very briefly that one of the initiatives we took on in economic development in the beginning of COVID was building a new website through our Out There campaign called insightoutthere.com. And it really has grown over the last few months and continues to be a place for people to connect with local Santa Rosa artists, musicians, retailers, restaurants, breweries, wineries. I encourage you all to check it out if you haven't already. And that is my update for today. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Fleming, do you have any questions?
No, I just wanted to say a special thank you on the updates around the requirements for protests.
Sure, you're welcome.
Thank you. And do we have any comments from members of the public?
I see no raised hands at this time.
Thank you. Let's move on to Downtown Action Organization. A lot of great things happening downtown. Cadence, can you report out, please?
Yeah, thank you, Chair Alvarez. Good morning, Vice Mayor Fleming. I'm having a little Zoom trouble, so hopefully this goes smoothly for the next few minutes here. I want to just start by saying thank you. As Chair Oliveira said, we have a lot of projects happening downtown, and it's required a lot of support from city staff, and all of the partnerships that we've developed and are working through have just been really supportive, a lot of creative problem solving, from city staff, moving quickly to get things done. And I just wanted to share on behalf of everyone downtown how much we appreciate that. Really, every department we're working with understands the importance of supporting small businesses right now and how crucial their continued success is to downtown and the city overall. So thank you to everybody. Quick update on Open and Out. So the program officially wrapped up on October 15th. We did get great feedback from members of the community. Kind of looking forward now to figuring out how we can keep that momentum going, not just in the immediate future, but throughout the year and the coming years as well. As Tara said, we are almost done with installing our art. It's been kind of nice that it's been spread out as much as it has. We've got, I think, 3 pieces remaining to be installed. So we'll see 2 more of those going in by the end of this year, and then 1 going in next April. So kind of excited to see those rolling out and brightening up things downtown. The 600 block has reopened. And the 700 block is actually going to be reopened next week. So all of the restaurants on those 2 blocks had to reduce their parklets, get permits to operate in the street, but we've been able to come up with solutions for most of them. So again, thanks to the city staff for supporting that effort. It's very tough for our restaurants to operate right now, kind of without being able to operate indoors at all. Heading toward rainy season, there's a lot of anxiety, understandably there. Really nervous to kind of see how things pan out and what happens in Sonoma County, so that if they can potentially start operating differently. But they're all trying to, fortify their parklets, bring in heat, create rain cover. So doing everything we can to help them keep business going as much as possible. With Open and Out wrapping up, we're transitioning into the Chamber's Winter Lights celebration. So I think everyone is probably familiar with it, with the event as it used to be. This year, obviously, we are looking at things completely differently. Everything is being created kind of in the same vein as Open and Out, but really with social distancing at front of mind. So we're not trying to bring people down at one time for a big tree lighting. We'll be doing a little bit of a virtual component and then focusing on creating a fun, celebratory, family-focused atmosphere downtown from November 27th to January 1st. So we're creating a little winter wonderland in Jeju Way. We've got some fun family kind of scavenger hunt type activities downtown, so the little ones can come and kind of look for different things that have been put out for them. We've got a couple different photo opportunities that people can come and take pictures in front of, new art going in. We'll have music during the day, during kind of prime shopping hours on the weekends. And then we're working with Tara and her team to bring elements of the handmade holiday craft fair that's usually at Finley to Courthouse Square. So excited about all of those. I think that it's going to create a very fun, festive atmosphere. And then we're also working on some additional decorations. So we have all of our downtown businesses, we have purchased evergreen swags so they can decorate their doors. The Engine is Red designed some really, really great new street banners that kind of feature downtown Santa Rosa in a holiday theme. So we're really excited to roll those out. And then we're also working on getting some new lighting installed on 4th Street. So I think all of that is moving forward and looking like it should be done by the time that Winter Lights officially kicks off. So excited to be having these elements in place to create that festive shopping, dining, community atmosphere downtown that we can continue from Open and Out. I'll give a quick update on our Street Plus team as well. So we are fully staffed, which is great. It's been a struggle for them recently with all the homeless activity downtown. We're really grateful for working with Catholic Charities and Host. We meet with Kelly and her team and Catholic Charities every week to talk through issues. So that partnership has been growing and it's really helpful to have their support. but the impact to businesses downtown is very hard to combat. Our Street Plus team has shifted their schedule to try and kind of better deal with some of the constant issues that come up, but it remains an ongoing problem. Unpleasant interactions for customers, vandalism, overnight activity. It's really making it hard for our small businesses to operate. Many of them feel like it's been getting worse over the past couple months. And I think our landlords as well, who are looking to rent empty spaces, whether it's an office space or restaurant retail, it's been hard when the impacts of that have been so prevalent. So definitely concerning and an ongoing issue that we are trying to deal with. But again, appreciate the city's support around that and look forward to kind of future discussions around really trying to change that perception downtown, perception and reality. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is the Isawa Fountain. So I think it's kind of the way things go right now, but we also experienced some delays in getting the project moving as quickly as we thought. No issues have come up, just a couple COVID related delays. We did finalize all the funding, so huge thank you to our donors for that. Donna Bourne and Exchange Bank and the Rotary Clubs kind of stepped in to close that gap, so that's fantastic. And we are still hoping to break ground by the end of the year, but I'll look forward to sharing an update, hopefully a little bit more of a concrete timeline with all of you at our next meeting as well. I think that's it for me, unless there's any questions.
Thank you, Cadence, and thank you for your leadership downtown, the coordination that you're doing with everybody. I know it's difficult. There's so many moving parts to make this happen. It's not easy, but you've stuck to it, and I think the results have been, from my perspective, amazing for downtown and our entire city. So thank you for all you're doing, and thanks for all the things that you're planning. A lot of great creativity going into this as we move into the winter months and the holidays. So thank you for that. Vice Mayor Fleming, do you have any questions or comments?
I do not. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Any members of the public wishing to comment on this item?
Thank you, Chair Oliveros. There are no raised hands at this time.
Give a little more brief second, just in case there's a little delay there. And still nothing?
Still nothing.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll go ahead and we'll move into our parking program with Kim.
Good morning. Happy to be speaking with you today. I'll try to keep this fairly brief. I know there's a lot on the agenda. So the first thing I wanted to let you know is that we are moving forward with the replacement of the parking equipment in the garages. This has been a long time coming project. The contract, of course, was awarded, and we've got the plan submitted to the building department. So as soon as we get the permit approved, we will be moving forward with installation. So we expect that to be soon. The permit has been submitted for probably about a month now, and I know they've got quite a backlog. So we're hoping that we'll be beginning our installation in this month. We also have a pretty significant garage repair project that has been awarded, and they're going to be starting work this month as well. That will be in 4 of the garages. The only garage that doesn't have repair work at this time is the 3rd Street garage. So you can expect to see some impacts. The garages will all still be functioning and people will still be able to park. But that's really necessary work to keep water from getting inside the structures, which will extend the useful life of them. We're also working on extending the fee reductions, the parking fee reductions that we approved at the end of June that went into effect for July 1st, and they're set to expire at the end of the year. So we will be going to council on December 10th to extend some of these fee reductions, including the reduction of the value zone hourly rate to 50 cents an hour, continuing to have free parking in the garages Monday through Friday after 5 o'clock, free parking in the garages on Sunday, and waiving the fees for the temporary parklets that we've been doing. And then we'll also be continuing the promotion with the Passport app that provides for one free session up to $3.15. And the code that you would enter is PARKSR if you want to take advantage of that. So we encourage people to use the app. We've seen quite a bit of impacts from COVID. Our revenue is down so far for the first through October for this fiscal year. It's down 50% year over year, which we expected that it would be down. It's slowly recovering. For example, in July, the revenue was down 60% year over year. So we're seeing a creeping trend of improvement, but it's slow. Our transactions were also down 60% in July. They're down 50% in October, so same trend. We've seen a 30% reduction in permits. And on the enforcement side, we are writing far fewer tickets, and we're writing upwards of 50% warnings when citation, I mean, they're not citations, they're just warnings. So we're giving everybody a one-time warning before they would get a citation. We have set up 19 curbside pickup spaces, the 15-minute zones. We had 79 spaces blocked off due to the street closures. Of course, that will be reduced as the streets reopen. And we've got 26 spaces that were blocked due to the temporary parklets. And then the last thing, I just wanted to remind people that we have a low wage discounted employee permit that for employees that make $22.96 an hour or less qualify for a 50% discount on permits at the First Street Garage and the 7th Street Garage. And then we also have a very discounted permit for employees who work at night. It's $10 a month. It's good at any garage, and it's good from 3 p.m. to 6 a.m. So I just wanted to remind people that we're really doing our best to encourage employees to not park on the street and give them really affordable options to do so. And that's all I've got. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Kim. Vice Mayor, do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to our host, see if there's any raised hands for public comment on this item.
Yes, there is one raised hand. We have Bernard Schwartz. Bernard, I'm going to allow you to speak. If we all could hold for just one moment, I'm just going to pull up public comment screen. Hold on. And Mr. Schwartz, are you able to see the timer?
I can.
Wonderful. I'll go ahead and start.
Okay. Kim, I just had one question, which is that you said when you were going for the extension of the fee reductions, it would include free parking in the garage on Sunday. Currently, it's on Saturday and Sunday. Is that going to remain the same?
No, we're proposing that we would resume paid parking on Saturday, but continue with the free parking on Sundays.
So I'm hoping that there's some opportunity from input from the downtown community, because we're still very much impacted, and we don't expect that the first quarter is going to be any better than it is now. Have you done any outreach with the Action Committee or any of the downtown businesses on that proposal?
We've been in touch with through Cadence, but I have not participated in any of the merchant meetings recently. So no, that has not happened. Of course, the goal here was to provide some balance. We want to continue to support the downtown. We're looking at a projected $1.5 million hit to the parking fund this year. So we're trying to find a way to continue to support the downtown in a meaningful way, but also try to recover some of the revenue that is being lost to the parking fund, understanding that we've got millions of dollars of capital improvement projects that need to be completed, and we're trying to find a way to keep a sustainable program.
Understood, and we certainly want the parking district to remain strong. At the same time, I know the city would like to maximize whatever sales taxes can come in. So I hope there's room for some further conversation on this. And thank you. I'm done now.
Thank you, Chair Oliveris. We have an additional person with a raised hand, Julie Montgomery. Julie, I've unmuted you, and we will be sharing the screen so you can see your time for public comments. Are you able to see that screen?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I would just like to echo Bernie's comments. I'm Julie with Kindred Fair Trade and on the square, and I really hope that the decision or the idea to charge for parking on Saturdays in the garages could be looked at, because as Bernie said, you know, I understand that the parking program needs to remain strong, but downtown is struggling, especially as retailers, as it is, and we really need to put a lot of effort into making sure that we can make it through this holiday season. And having parking in the garages for free on the weekends is going to be key to that. Thank you very much.
There are no other hands at this time.
Okay, so what I wanted to do is, there are no other raised hands. I wanted to move back. I made an error in our agenda with item 4.1. I misread that. And as you recall, back in September, we did have some glitches with having people be able to comment, et cetera. So I want to go back to that and see if there are any public comments on items that we have presented back on September the 3rd at our meeting. As you, again, some of you recall, we did have a little of a glitch. So I wanted to take this opportunity to see if there's anybody that had public comment on our discussions from back then. I know it was a while ago, but I just wanted to afford that opportunity.
Chair Oliveris, there are no hands raised at this time.
Thank you very much. So with that, we'll move on to item 4.5. We have a Railroad Square Association Community Benefit District. Rafael?
Yes, good morning, Chair Olivares and Vice Mayor Fleming. It's a pleasure to hear you and see you. Well, hear you, Vice Mayor. The next item, of course, is the update on Railroad Square Association. And Eileen, I don't know if we have unmuted Christina. Okay. And then moving forward, the association has hired a part-time director. So we're very excited about that. And her name is Christina Wilson. And she has a very impressive resume. She spent some time working at St. Joseph's Health for quite a long time for the foundation, as well as for the development department. And she's also done some other consulting work. And we're very delighted that we'll be able to continue working closely with Railroad Square Association, as well as with this the new director. So Christina, if you'd like to provide us with an update on developments in Railroad Square.
Sure, thank you, and please call me Chris. First, I want to acknowledge Cadence, and thank you, Cadence, for the time. We'll be meeting regularly. Cadence has set up such a very good system and program in downtown, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot of collaborating with the Railroad Square District so that we can have a little more blending of the two districts. So looking forward to that. And also with Tara, meeting with Tara, and sending me guidelines and things that I can share with the business owners down there. As I'm getting my arms around just the position, I've been spending time really getting acquainted with the business owners and property owners, and listening and hearing what their issues are and things that we'd like to be doing. We had a great day, and thanks, Rafael, for all your help and time. We welcomed our new AC Hotel that recently opened in Railroad Square District, and also Nimble and Finn's ice cream shop that just opened. So if you haven't wandered down there, you really should. And we did a couple of volunteer street cleanings, a couple of Monday mornings. Again, thank you, Raphael, for bringing brooms and bags and picker-uppers. You know, we did street cleaning, but it's also a great way of engaging our board and our business owners down there to let them know, keep us more visible as an association that we're there to support them. So we are working on, just about have completed, we'll be doing a historic walking tour with the Klingons. They'll be going on a number of those beautiful historic buildings down there so that people can walk around on their own and use their phone and be able to learn more about some of the history in Railroad Square. We've started the process for banner replacement in Railroad Square, and looking at holiday marketing, holiday lighting, really wanting to light up Railroad Square more. Being limited this year, of course, we can't do all the creative things that I would love to be doing down there, but we are working on what we can do to create a festive atmosphere, and hopefully then it would even be a link with the winter lights that Caden's working on downtown to extend the lights and warm and welcome feeling of Railroad Square. There is some talk, we're in very preliminary planning stages of a possible farmers market in the spring. So we're looking now at, you know, what the process is for certification and the feasibility of doing that. So a lot of projects going on, and I'm learning as I'm going. Again, thank you, Raphael, for your support and everyone. So looking forward to seeing you and working with you. So if anyone has any questions, let me have it.
Chris, this is Ernesto. Welcome. Welcome to the team and to the committee as well. We look forward to future reports from you and engagement. So thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor, do you have any questions or comments?
Nope, excited to have the Community Benefit District staff and up and running.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Madam Host?
There are no raised hands at this time.
Okay. One quick last call for any comments on this item. Okay, we have none. So, Ravel, if you have nothing more on that piece of it, we'll go ahead and move on to our banner policy update.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again, and good morning, everyone. It's great to hear some of you, and I recognize some names. So thank you, Chris, and everybody else who's chipping in, basically, with this very difficult times, especially not just here in Santa Rosa, but throughout our nation and even our world. But I'm here this morning to go very quickly for a second time this year to discuss the banner policy and provide an update regarding that. I'm also in this very brief presentation going to talk about some of the background related to the banner policy, the purpose and why it's needed, and then I'll walk you through very quickly through the application process and how we got there. I got a very brief presentation, so we're going to go right through it, and then I'll answer any questions. And Tara, feel free to chime in, and I don't know if Race is on the call. You do so as well. So next slide, please. All right, so in terms of the background, we already have a Santa Rosa zoning code that regulates temporary hanging banners, but it's not related to street pole banners. And then we also have in place the council policy that outlines city advertising policy and guidelines for promoting non-city service on city-owned facilities, equipment, and social media. But neither of the code or the council policy address a comprehensive streetlight pole banner policy designed to establish uniform regulations and associated fees for banner placement by non-city entities. The adoption of the street pole banner policy would fill this gap. Streetlight pole banners are typically used for promotional purposes, placemaking, and enhancement tool. The city of Santa Rosa has allowed banners citywide on city-owned light poles on an informal basis for programs and projects directly associated with city departments and divisions, as well as for select nonprofit organizations that have worked through the city manager's office. And we now see that the banners policy is needed. So within the city, the demand for banner display has generally been driven by the Economic Development Division for seasonal and event-related issues. Non-city use of street pole banners include Railroad Square Association, Rose Parade, and the Wednesday Night Market, to name a few. New requests for banner placements are increasing for such events, and organizations such as Sonoma County Pride and the Junior College, as well as placemaking desires such as the Sonoma County Museum and Memorial Hospital. The Economic Development Team staff, in coordination with Public Works Street Maintenance Division, were charged with facilitating the locations, hardware purchases, scheduling, and installation of banners on street poles. Installation and removal of banners has been performed by Public Works, which has also impacted their core services during the last couple of years. Next slide, please. So the purpose, with banner interest continuing to rise, mainly from event producers, but also from neighborhood groups and nonprofit organizations, the proposed streetlight pole banner policy is intended to provide a clear and fair process where none has existed. The purpose of the banner policy is to establish a program, guidelines, and proposed fees for placement of banners on city streetlight poles in the public right-of-way. So some of the typical banner uses would be for recognitions, events such as Ironman, Wednesday Night Market, placemaking for our community districts, seasonal historic recognitions, public facilities. Ineligible banner uses, let's go back one. Ineligible banner uses would be, of course, violation of the Santa Rosa City Code, violation of the council advertising policy, activities not open to the general public, commercial, political, religious content, and images or messages inconsistent with these guidelines. So I'm going to move on real quick. Next slide, please. To how we got to the whole part regarding application process and propose fees. We did take a look in our research. We did take a look at various municipalities throughout the Bay Area, and did an assessment on and learned that many of the local municipalities already have banner policies or banner programs in place, and there's also fees associated with these services. We learned that many of the municipalities had stepped out completely out of the business of installing banners. However, we did find a few, such as the city of San Mateo, that still puts up banners by working with the organizations wishing to do so. And then in that table, we also laid out some of the fees associated with banner programs, and it ranges between $25 to close to $600 in other municipalities, such as the city of Vallejo. Next slide, please. Okay, so here I'm gonna go between these two next slides, which is the process and the proposed fees. But basically, to exercise quality control and streetlight pole availability, banner requests will be reviewed by city staff via a streetlight pole banner application. Applicants seeking to use the street light poles for banner placement will apply to review, so we can get the opportunity to review, and that would also include dates, pole numbers, and artwork content, and who will eventually be the installer. Upon approval, the applicant pays the encroachment permit fees to ensure proper documentation and insurance, and their designated installer also must submit a traffic plan. Following the installation of the banners, staff will provide an inspection of the installation to ensure proper placement of these banners. So to that end, through clear regulations and shifting the responsibility of installation and removal of banners from our street crews to the private sector, the banner program provides an accessible pathway for banner placement in support of placemaking and promoting community activities. The city's role is basically to facilitate the coordination among organizations, minimize the scheduling conflicts, and ensure public safety. Banner applications will be available here at City Hall and online. So basically the process will be, the application will include availability, content review, and installer documentation for compliance. The permit issuance will again get approved and so forth. And then, Eileen, sorry, if you could go back to the, the previous one, sorry. The traffic control plan will be submitted, and then the installation part will include the inspection and maintenance and upkeep. We don't want these banners to fall off, and we want to ensure that the zip tie clips are on there as well in the event of major wind storms, etc. Next slide, please. All right, so then in terms of the fees, we are proposing, or we'll be making a presentation to the City Council on January 12th to go over these proposed fees. So basically, there is a an application fee of $45, and then that takes you, if we approve all the required documents through the encroachment permit section, and the encroachment fee is $128. Plus the installer will have to pay a traffic control fee of $147. And then at the end, once those beautiful banners are installed, then we'll go out and make sure that there's an inspection conducted. And that ranges between the amount of banners that are installed between $75 to $225. Okay, let's go to the next item. The next slide, please. And then these are some of the requirements that you'll see on the proposed application that again will be presented at the City Council meeting on January 12th. Next slide, please. Perfect. Okay, so in terms of the outreach, beyond reviewing the proposed policy and regulations with city staff members from Public Works, Recreation and Parks and others, we focus our outreach and policy development engagement efforts on event organizers such as Wednesday Night Market, Winter Lights, and Sonoma County Pride. Staff also had the opportunity to meet and make presentations to the Metro Chamber, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Downtown Action Organization back before the pandemic, Railroad Square Association, the Museum of Sonoma County, and we also had the opportunity to speak to our Roseland area business owners and representatives from various other organizations and interested parties. Input and concerns were also considered and integrated into the policy as appropriate. And this was based on a prior presentation that we made to this very own committee back in February. So we incorporated those changes as well. The policy has gone through some minor revisions. So at this point, I'd like to ask if there are any questions regarding the banner policy.
Thank you, Rafael. Good stuff here. Vice Mayor, do you have any questions on this presentation?
I do not.
Thank you. Now I'll ask our host to check for any raised hands or the public comment on this item.
Thank you, Chair Oliveris. There are no raised hands at this time.
Just give it a couple seconds here. Okay, so it looks like we have no public comment on this item. We'll move on to our public safety update. Sergeant Wolf.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. I guess I'll chime in on what Cadence brought up earlier. We are seeing an increase in the homeless population downtown. We've responded to a number of calls for service related to normally either, well, odd behavior. They had a guy in a dress singing show tunes in a tree we talked down on 4th Street. So we've had some kind of odd calls down there. But there are a number of issues and crimes, including thefts and vandalism, going on in the downtown corridor. We're working with some of the business owners on 4th Street that are having some repeated issues, probably with the same individual or two. We're trying to address that. We've really been focused on, well, the downtown corridor and the Prince Memorial Greenway have been our primary concerns, but we're still keeping an eye on Fremont Park, Juilliard Park, Comstock Mall. We've been a significant presence at Comstock Mall, and we're still seeing some of the daytime loitering, but less of the overnight camping there. The DAO, hats off to them. I know we've been involved once or twice with people actively, well, being very aggressive, cussing at them and things like that. So we have placed a number of people on mental health holds, and we have made a significant number of arrests in the downtown area. But we're still continuing to see some of the issues. Also, City Hall, we've made a couple of arrests out there, some people that were high on meth and engaging in some bad behaviors, and the Transit Mall. So I guess in general, the downtown has had kind of an influx, almost exclusively homeless related issues. We're doing our best to stay on top of that. I met with the mall recently over concerns with a possible civil unrest with the elections. So the events that have been planned haven't been anything significant that we've been tracking, but we expect if there is something significant, it might form quickly in reaction. A reactionary group forms. We do have plans in place to address that. And then finally, for the Railroad Square people, I plan on meeting, I need to speak to, I believe it was Mr. Silver and possibly Mike Montague. I'm going to try and meet with you guys next week to talk about some of the concerns there, and also moving into winter, just some thoughts about the underpasses. And that's it.
Great, thank you, Sergeant. Vice Mayor, any questions related to public safety?
I did not, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll ask our host to see if there's any public comment on this item.
Thank you, Chair Oliveris. We do have Bernard Schwartz would like to speak. Hold on just one moment. Mr. Schwartz, I have given you the opportunity to unmute yourself. There. And I will go ahead and share the public comment screen. Mr. Schwartz, are you able to see the screen?
I am.
If you would like to proceed.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention that the downtown community really appreciates the police presence, and we appreciate the challenges that both the street team from the DAO and the police department are facing every day. There has been some talk about boarding up in anticipation of maybe some election protests. Right now, there are a few buildings boarded up, bigger institutions. Those of us that are smaller businesses are resisting because frankly, it's a bad look. And I know that we might be late in this, but my own personal decision has been to wait and see if something happens. I just wanted to make that comment and again, let you know how much we appreciate the police presence downtown. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bernie.
Chair Oliveris, there are no additional hands raised at this time.
Thank you. Let's move to Dean Hamlin with our parks crew related to maintenance in the Courthouse Square area.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dean.
Good to see everybody. Challenging times for sure. Just a few quick notes. Update on Fremont Park. PG&E is actually going to come in and going to update the power source for the entire park, which will be for the lighting, water feature, and irrigation controller. And then Public Works electrical section is going to help us out with getting a new power tower, and then we'll put in a new controller cabinet, and then we can start moving forward with doing some more turf work once we know that we have water automatically in that park. I just wanted to remind anybody, DAO included, if you're doing any sidewalk washing now going into winter, be very, very cognizant of the temperature before sunup. Could create ice on sidewalks. It's something that we try to steer away from this time of year unless we absolutely have to, because that could create a possible hazardous situation. So it's just something to keep in the back of your minds. If you are going to use any water that could eventually ice over on the sidewalks. I do want to throw a shout out to our streets graffiti crew. They've been helping us out tremendously in the downtown core, kind of filling in some gaps. I had one of our longtime employees resigned from the downtown crew, so we're down to 3 at the moment, which any help that we can get from our street side really is helping out. And I just wanted to throw out a shout out there. And a shout out to Raphael for the meeting with the Railroad Square folks as far as trying to make some visual improvements, some tree work, possibly maneuvering some garbage cans. Just let him know I was able to order some new can liners. As soon as they get here, we have an inventory in the yard. Those are the same cans that are down 4th Street and 3rd and so forth. So if you do find that those cans are missing liners, don't hesitate to call us. We keep an inventory here in the yard to pull from, just so that it doesn't take too long to get them replaced. Yeah, we're going into irrigation control mode. We're trying to get into a save water mode now. As you know, this time of year in Sonoma County, temperatures fluctuate, days are shorter, so it becomes quite challenging to monitor water and manage water. So that's a big component of our jobs this time of year, as well as starting to do some tree pruning when we can find time to squeeze that in as some of our trees downtown go dormant. So that's definitely on the hit list as well. That's it for me.
Thank you, Dean, and thank you for your continued efforts in keeping things maintained and looking sharp downtown and other areas, Fremont Park especially. I know that's kind of in a recovery mode right now, so thank you for that. Vice Mayor, any questions or comments on this item?
No, thank you very much, Dean.
Thank you. Madam Host, do we have any raised hands for comments on this item?
Thank you, Chair Oliveros. No, there are no raised hands at this time.
Thank you. Let's move to Kelly at Housing and Community Services for an update there.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Just a brief update. I think that Cadence and Sergeant Wolf did a good job of providing a summary with regards to what's happening in the downtown related to homelessness. And Cadence mentioned that we're meeting on a weekly basis between Streets Plus and hosts, and just want to mention that I appreciate that partnership to improve coordination of our homeless response efforts in the downtown area. And then really, like I said, Cadence and Sergeant Wolf did a great job updating the group on what's going on downtown. My focus, or our focus, on the programming side of things, because I'm the city's homeless services manager, is on the closure of the Finley program, the safe social distancing program that we set up in response to COVID-19. We're closing that down with the anticipation of winter weather coming, and have worked, of course, with all the individuals there to find them placements prior to the closure. And then also the construction of Sam Jones Hall. You might be aware, we're constructing a new facility. It's a sprung structure in the parking lot at Sam Jones Hall, and that's going to provide up to 60 beds, and that's to restore capacity that we lost due to social distancing requirements. So back in March, we lost 60 beds at the shelter, and we're taking steps to restore those beds, which we all know are very much in need in our community. So I think that's my update from the homeless services side of things. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Vice Mayor, any questions for Kelly?
No.
Thank you. Madam Host, any raised hands for comment on this item?
Thank you, Chair Oliveris. No, there are no raised hands at this time.
Okay. And that's it on our agendized items. We have no matters in committee. Do we have any department reports of any type, anything to report out on?
I see no
Looks like
raised
we have
hands at
none.
this time.
Thank you. And you know what, let me reach out to members of the public if there are any things that they want to check in on, more related to future agenda items. Is there anything that you want to bring forward, want us to explore bringing forward in this committee related to the downtown that you might need for this committee?
Chair Oliveris, I see no raised hands at this time.
Great, thank you. I just want to make sure that people had an opportunity to weigh in to see if there's anything that they needed. So great meeting, thank you. A lot of good information and a lot of exciting things coming to the downtown as we transition into the holiday season. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to our next meeting as well. So I'll let you all get back to your screen and check out what those election results are looking like. I know it's a nail biter, but we'll see where we go. So thank you all. And with that, our meeting is adjourned.